And she joins me right now. Darlene is on the phone with us, Zoom call. We're looking at each other. Darlene, how you doing?
I'm doing awesome. How you doing, Brad?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited to talk to you. You know, long time fan, right? I've been a long time fan, but how are you doing out there in beautiful California?
Oh, California is beautiful right now. It's a little chilly, but we love it. It's blue skies, and I really can't complain. I'm in, a great area of Santa Monica, so I'm doing pretty well.
So
How
catch
about
us.
you?
I'm good. Texas, it's hot. For 50 weeks a year. So
Oh, yeah.
we have 2 weeks of a little cold, so we'll be fine. But walk me through what's been going on in your world as of late.
Well, let's see. Well, starting with the pandemic, of course, we were shut down for a few months, and now just starting to get back into auditioning, which is just a whole other realm because you don't go into the room anymore. You have to set up a tape, and then you could hopefully find a friend to help you tape. Or and then you have to download it and we transfer it, and then you could spend like hours on this and you don't even know if the casting director will even look at it. So we're in that whole realm right now of auditioning. And with there's a lot of productions that keep getting shut down because of COVID tests and things like that. I have a friend who's doing a movie right now and producing it, and he's just like, they're spending a fortune just in COVID tests.
I can only
And
imagine.
yeah, and then just constantly shutting down for crew or cast or this or that. So, we're all in it together. So what else can just have to make the best of it.
Absolutely. I just, for me, I'm such a person who I need to vibe with what's going on in the room, right? So I can only
Yeah.
imagine trying to do an audition where you can't feel the room and kind of tailor your portrayal, based off the feedback you're getting.
Yeah, exactly. Because they really only watch like the first 3 seconds, and they know by then if okay, do we want her? No, move on. They might not even watch the rest of it. But listen, I've been doing this for 32, 3, 4 years. I don't even know, and and also I'm in a weird age range right now because I am in my 50s, and usually I play the mom of like of a daughter that's in trouble or something, and now the age range for that has gone way down, and it's just I have to get older. I have to be like in my 60s and 70s, and look older, and to get different roles. But I have kids, I have dogs, I have a lot going on, so it keeps me pretty busy.
I'm sure that it does. Well, I've been perusing your IMDb, and obviously we're going to talk about your work in Back to the Future, both Part Two and The Ride, which I want to talk extensively about. But
Okay.
you were on Boy Meets World, which I actually think, for my generation, one of the greatest shows of all time. Right? That for when I
Ah,
was a kid, one of the best shows of all time. I had Mr. Feeney on the show a couple months ago, who was great. Talk to me about your experience on Boy Meets World.
oh my God, that was so fun. I don't, how many episodes did I
I
do? I
think you did
think
4.
four. Yeah, and everyone was so great. I love the kids on the show. I mean, they were kids to me,
Hmm.
but this because Ben and Fred Savage were always there, and they all had this great camaraderie. They were like family, and there was the first time I ever knew, they taught me this, that you can chew Trident gum with the wrapper on, and it dissolves in your mouth. I thought that was like one of my biggest memories of shooting Boy Meets World was chewing Trident gum with the wrapper on. And but everyone's so great, and such talented kids and just adorable. I mean, it's always fun doing sitcom work because it's so quick and you have a live audience, you get the feedback, you get the laughs, so it was really fun. I loved it.
On a normal sitcom, how many days are you there? Because they try to do it throughout the week, right? So you have the table
Yeah.
read, maybe a rehearsal, and then a shoot night. Is that all you're doing?
Yeah, it's like 5 days or something. And normally the script that you started with changes drastically from Monday to Thursday. So you're like, wait, I loved that line, but then they cut it because it didn't work or this or that. So yeah, you just rehearse. It's a lot of waiting around, a lot. And especially if you're a guest star, you're only in a couple scenes. So you're just sitting there waiting for your scene to come up. So you're always at the craft service table eating. And so that was my favorite part. anytime I could eat like on set, that's like my favorite part because I hate cooking at home.
You got to get a free meal somewhere.
Oh yeah, and all the the candy and everything. I'm such a candy girl. So, but yeah, but then also just shoot the breeze with the crew and things like that. But you wait around, you walk around Warner Brothers, you walk around the sound stages and stuff, and wait to go on. And then when they bring in the live audience, you do a whole run through for the producers, and then that night you do like 5 hours.
It's all good.
Sorry, someone was calling and I have it on Do Not Disturb. I don't know why that went through. So they do the warm up, but it can take like 5 hours to shoot a 30-minute, 24-minute show.
Yeah, and as a guest star, would you ever try to, I don't know, you see the script and you think, hey, it would be cool if I kind of approach it this way, and you try to maybe improv on set, or are they pretty strict of, I need you to follow to the letter?
You kind of have to, especially if you're a guest star, you kind of have to follow through. There's certain shows where you have to ask, can I change a little thing? Can I do this? Can I do that? Or you ask permission. And there are some shows, especially nighttime drama shows, that you have to say it word for word. You have to ask for everything, especially if you're a guest, which is, difficult, but, because you kind of want to like put your little thing in there too, but sometimes they're just very strict.
So how did it all begin for Darlene? Where did you start off? Did you start off always knowing that you wanted to go into acting, or where did the desire start?
No, I mean, what was funny is, when I was like 10 or 11, I'd be in the bathroom and like take a bottle of shampoo and conditioner or stuff like that, and read the back and pretend I was doing commercials in the mirror, because who does that, right? But I was never in, theater at school. I was never doing any of that. And I actually did a beauty pageant when I was in high school. And I actually won it. It was in New Jersey at the time. And that got me a scholarship to an acting school in New York. And why did I do it? I can't remember why I did it. I can't remember why I went on the beauty pageant. Anyway, but I got a scholarship to an acting school because I took a gap year after high school before I went to college. And in that gap year, I worked, and then I went to New York 3 times a week to acting class. And I just had a ball. I didn't know what I was doing. I had no clue, but I just had so much fun. And then when I went to New York City, I was going to Fashion Institute of Technology, FIT in New York, for marketing and cosmetics and fragrances. That's what I was going to do. And then I ran out of money. I couldn't finish college. And so one of the guys on my floor was like, hey, do you want to model? I know an agent. And I was like, sure, I'll do anything. I was spraying perfume on people at Saks and on the weekends. And and then got with a modeling agent, started doing showroom, modeling, then print work, and then just started auditioning. My model agents would send me out on stuff. So one of my first things on a set was for Bright Lights Big City, and I played Kiefer Sutherland's Day Inga. I was there to be an extra, and then they upgraded me to silent bit, so I made like $140 instead of $99. And so it was with Michael and Kiefer, but they didn't really talk to us because we were the little people then. So and a manager, Julia Roberts' manager, saw me on a Crystal Light commercial and signed me, and that's started me on my. I still didn't know what I was doing, had no clue. I just kind of rolled with it.
Did you ever have a moment, like I always look for that eureka moment, where people get, when people will give you advice, and then it doesn't make any sense to you until that one day you're like, oh, that's what they were saying. Did you have a eureka moment ever on set where you started to feel like you were getting it?
No. No. Every time that I have to say, when I first did my first sitcom, like Charles in Charge, I did. And that's where I met one of my best friends on it, because we both were the guest stars. You just listen. This is stuff that you don't learn in acting school, and I took acting school, but I think sitcoms are a great place to learn, because they tell you where to hit your mark and this and this and that. But I remember this one director wanted me so bad for this pilot, and I was so greening. I didn't know what I was doing. but he loved me. He kept bringing me in and in and in. He goes, I know you can do this. And I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing. But as you work, you know, you just learn more and more the technical stuff. But acting is all about listening, reacting, saying your line, hitting your mark. I mean, you have to be able to delve into a character. And I don't know how I do it. I mean, there's like some things I know I can't do, I'm not capable of. But yeah, I mean, every single set was definitely a learning curve. Every single one.
So when you're doing these sets, your agents are sending you out on auditions. You know, I'm sure some you're knocking out of the park, some, you know, you wanted but maybe it didn't work out. How do you end up getting into feature work? And when we're talking about that, it's really you are spiking Back to the Future 2, which at the time in '89, the biggest sequel maybe ever, you know, at the time, because
I know
1985.
we didn't know. We didn't
Yeah.
know that's what it was. You know, when we were shooting, it was like, wow, this is like going to be really big. You know, and that was my first movie, and I think I'd only done Charles in Charge and a ton of commercials. I mean, I was like a commercial queen. I mean, I did so many commercials. I did a little bit in The Equalizer, and yeah, I mean, I walked into my agent's office and they were like, hey, Darlene, how young can you play? And I'm like, I don't know. So he goes, well, go on this audition. And that was for Back to the Future. And so I walked in and just had a meeting with the casting director, and we bullshitted and stuff. And she was like asking me stuff on my resume, which were lies, like my theater experience. I just wrote down things that were, I had no experience. How are you supposed to have a resume when you have no experience? I mean,
Right.
I started acting really old, you know. I mean, I wasn't 18 when I started acting. I started in my 20s because I did the modeling thing in the commercials first. So for me, I was already old starting. In my 20s, you know, I guess I was 24, 25. Yes, I walked in and then didn't hear anything, and then came back like a month later and then met Ricky and Jason, and we just had to improv in the room, and then we sat around another month, and then they said, oh, you got it. It'll be a 2-week job. And we're like, oh, okay, cool. Ended up being 2 months.
Yeah, I want to ask about that because obviously you were also involved in a lot of elaborate scenes that were shot during that time that you were on set. But were you aware of Back to the Future prior? I mean, obviously you knew the movie, but did you see it? Were you a fan? Did
I
you
don't
know Michael J.
remember.
Fox?
I honestly do not remember if I saw it. I really don't. I mean, I don't remember like the enormity of the movie. I just don't remember all. I have to ask Ricky, because Ricky's got a better memory than me. But I have to say, did we know that we were on like this blockbuster movie when we were shooting it? I mean, because I don't know if did Back to the Future already come out when we shot it? I didn't know.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. So yeah, I mean, the sequel came out what 4 years later from the first film. So it was
Oh, so
definitely
then I guess I must have seen it. Yeah, I must have
perhaps
seen it.
maybe.
Yeah. I just don't, it's, you know, so long ago. I mean, you know, it's funny when you shoot all this stuff. I mean, even the series Pacific Blue that I was on for 5 years, I shot 88 episodes on there, and I just recently watched it again, and I'm like, I don't remember shooting half this stuff. It's crazy, you know? And sometimes I'll say like, oh, there's so-and-so. And I'm like, oh, right, I did Northern Exposure with him. I forgot I worked with that guy. You know, I've worked so much on so many different things that you kind of forget after a while, you know, what you've done. It's kind of odd.
So when you got your sides for your character in Back to the Future 2, do you remember what the description was of this character and what you were supposed
Oh
to
yeah,
be?
it's just it's Spike tough. Well, I mean, I got the whole realm of the character when I went for a fitting, and Joanna Johnston was like fitting me in this whole outfit, and I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I love the outfit. And we were like, oh, let's do this. And we were kind of like talking about it together. And she was, oh, we want to do this and do this. And then my eye naturally is half brown and half blue, one of my eyes. So they got the idea for my eye to put a different color contact in my eye for Spike. And then I had to go get fitted for that, but it didn't have a little hole in the middle. So when they put it in my eye, I just saw red in that eye. Everything was red in that eye.
So you couldn't see at all? Could you see through
Not in
it?
that eye. You could
Wow.
see through it, but it was like a red filter was over my eye. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
And
Okay.
then I had to get my hair bleached. They bleached the front bangs of my hair, and then we had to, go for practice on the hoverboards, with the stunt people and stuff. So there was a lot of prep for it. So it was really fun. I mean, still didn't know like really what this is all about. I'm like, it's a 2-week job, cool. But I don't remember even telling my friends I'm in Back to the Future. I mean, the sequel. I don't remember even telling them that.
That's crazy to me. So, okay, you said 2 weeks, it turned into 2 months, but you mentioned the hoverboards too. How much training did you have to do on those hoverboards? Do you remember? And was it
I
uncomfortable? Because you hadn't done anything, I'm assuming, to that level
No,
where you're hanging from wires or what have you.
yeah. Yeah, no, I've never even been on a skateboard. So, yeah, so well, the stunt people took us way out in the, desert area, and they had it all set up, and it was pretty cool. I mean, they just put us on wires, and it was a new thing for them too. So they really had to work out the kinks, and I think we only did it a couple times. We didn't really do it that much, but we had to have one wire in front of us, one wire behind us. It's all like a balancing act, and nothing was going to happen to us, as we were flying around, because we were harnessed in, so we couldn't fall off. And we put our feet in. The shoes were nailed to the skateboards, so to the boards, so hoverboards, I should say. So yeah, it wasn't like we were going to fall off of them.
So, why was a 2 week job? Why did it turn into 2 months?
Well, they had that special split camera, so
Hmm.
it could show everybody at a different age and stuff. So I thought it was called the Tundra camera. They named it something else in another interview that I saw. But the lighting took for hours because of this special split vision. And so sometimes we'd be sitting there for like 5 hours waiting for them to just light the scene. So the cafe alone took 1 month, and then the hoverboard scene took a month. Yeah.
Just to
So
light it and get the shot ready?
light it and get the shots done, and all the angles and all the split vision, and Michael this age and Biff that age. And, it's a lot of work, that was a lot. And it was new to them. They didn't know, it was a new technique they were doing. So it was pretty cool, but it was a lot of sitting around for Ricky and Jason and I. So we got to know each other very well. And Ricky and I are very close. We're still very close. So it's great.
Yeah, now Jason's out there, being the villain in Mulan and all kinds of stuff, right? Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I
pretty
know.
cool.
I hadn't seen Jason since the premiere, since the reunion, the 30th, no, 25th reunion. I think that's where I saw him. Yeah. Yeah. Because I hadn't seen him in so long. Because was living in Hawaii, then he was living in Singapore. So now he's back. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So was it kind of like Groundhog's Day, having to go to the set for a month in the Cafe 80s, and were you doing the scene multiple times, or was it waiting on lighting and stuff?
Yeah, we did the scene a few times, my famous one line, "What's wrong with fly? You got no scrote." I remember the first time I did that, and I don't know if you've heard me say this before, but I was doing my thing, and then I grabbed Michael by the groin, and he had a big ketchup bottle in his pants. And I didn't know what to do. I was like, do I break character or not? Because it's my first gig, I don't want to like mess up, but it was funny. So we were all laughing, and I was like, oh yeah, you wish, Michael. And he was laughing, but he just wanted to break the ice. That's how kind he is. He's just the kindest person on the planet. And so yeah, and then we did it. Yeah, we did it a few times, and then we had to do the choreography of all of us going down it. When he was swinging the bat, we all go down, and then we all fall on each other, and then we come in on that car. So yeah, I mean, we would work sometimes like maybe a few hours a day, but most of the time we were sitting around.
So talk to me about working though with Tom Wilson, who plays Biff and Griff in those scenes, and I think that he is just a phenomenal actor. His nuances between the characters, I just think that he did a great job. What was your experience like working with him?
He did a great job. Oh, he was amazing. I mean, Tom was just very giving and very fun. And yeah, you're right. He is very, he's a comedian. So he was very funny, and just, we just all had such a great experience because we knew that at some point that, this is going to be huge, and we're making history here, and he just, I don't know. I mean, he was such a professional. He had so many scenes. So I didn't get to hang out with him as much until like the hoverboard stuff too. But I remember us all singing songs when we're just waiting there, and just, I don't know, and just hanging out. I used to hang out with all the extras and talk to them and talk to the crew, and yeah, it was just fun.
And then, do you remember any like specific, I don't know, direction or anything from Robert Zemeckis that stuck with you going on? Every time I talk to somebody, and I know you had a limited speaking role, right?
Yeah.
But were you given anything by him, or did you observe anything that he did that you just thought, oh wow, this is why this guy is where he is?
He didn't really give us that much direction as far as I remember. I just always remember him cocking his head like this. He always cocked his head with a smile. And he, again, was the nicest guy on the planet. I mean, just so nice, so calm, never yelled. I mean, he was just, he always was laughing, just having a good time. I just think his professionalism is, that's why he does so well. And he's got such a creative mind. I mean, but look at the script he's working with that Bob Gale came up with. I mean, that's brilliant. I mean, I could never be a director. I mean, I just don't have that vision, reading a script going, wow, yeah, I could see that. I mean, there's just so many special effects in this movie. I just don't know how they pulled it all off.
Yeah, but they did. They did pull it off. Movie comes out, massive success automatically. What was your I don't know, what did you feel after the movie came out? Did you feel like, wow, I was really a part of something? And did you think maybe, okay, I'm going to do all of these movies now? What were you thinking when the movie came out?
Well, I mean, the third one was back to back with Ricky.
Right.
I mean, he's the only one that did the back to the back movie, but no, I mean, I just went on. I went on to doing TV shows and TV pilots and ski school. I mean, it's so funny because, here I work on this big blockbuster movie. And what was really funny is that I remember going to the premiere and a lot of people didn't recognize me. So they're like, I'm like, it's Spike, because my hair was different and I had this spike. A lot of people didn't see me without my costume because as soon as we got to set, we got into costume. So they never really saw me natural. So they were like, Spike, that's you? And I'm like, yeah, it's me. Because at the premiere, they just didn't know. And so, yeah, I mean, after that, yeah, the next movie was Ski School, which was like a low budget, thing shot in Canada. And I'm like, we were treated like queens on Back to the Future with the craft service of steak and lobster and amazing food, and Ski School's like pasta and plastic forks.
Reality check, right?
Yeah, I was like, wow. It was kind of like me going from Pacific Blue with my own trailer to a soap opera where you're sharing a dressing room and there's no craft service. I'm like, where's the bottled water? Where's craft service? I mean, I've done everything as far as acting. I mean, it's just with the commercials and extra and silent bit and guest stars and B movies and blockbuster movie. And, it's a great learning, experience. I'm glad, like, I don't know how people, when they go from here to here right away, they must get like a big head.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
You know what I mean? And then, cause I have worked with a lot of actors that demand so much. And I'm just like, geez, I mean, I was never like that. I was always just thankful to have a job, I mean, always. And when you work with people that are just so demanding and, don't show up on time or, make people wait or, complain about everything or demand facials and things. And I'm just like, ew, that's what gives actors a bad name when you have those kind of divas.
Right. Well, they're in every industry, but maybe a little bit more
prominent
that's true. In Hollywood at times. But how did the ride come about? Because for the longest time, I had no idea that you were the same. That you were both, right?
Yeah.
I had no idea because, like you said, you look so different as Spike than you do. You look like yourself in the Back to the Future, the ride film. So how did all that come about?
Joanna Johnston, the wardrobe a lady from Back to the Future, she has suggested me for the role. So she says, why don't you just use Darlene? And they're like, oh, okay, cool. So yeah, she outfitted me for that too, to be a futuristic, like, airline stewardess, journalist, whatever I was, commentator. Yeah. And it was funny because, Christopher Lloyd had just shot his stuff right before mine. And then the teleprompter broke for me. And I had pages of copy. And I'm just like, oh my God, I didn't memorize all this stuff because I knew it was teleprompter. So I just had it right next to me. And since I was like a journalist type of thing or host, I had it right in front of me. So I would be like, and they just shoot it in little clips. So that was fun. I remember going to the premiere of the ride and Michael Jackson was there, and that was pretty cool to go on that. And
Really?
But people still didn't recognize me. I mean, people that knew me recognized me, but I remember being on the ride and being in the elevator and I was coming up on the screen and people didn't realize I was the same person, like on the screen.
So Michael Jackson was at the debut of the ride?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, at Universal. Yeah.
What was it like to be in his presence?
Oh, well, they skirt him away.
Well,
really
I know,
quickly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must have been still pretty cool.
That's the only person I remember. I got to bring 2 guests, but, I wasn't considered, top notch for the ride.
What did you think of the ride, though, itself?
Oh, I thought it was a blast. I thought it was a shame that they took it down. I mean, I feel like Back to the Future. I mean, for the first 25 years, I never did any interviews for Back to the Future. None.
Really?
It's not until the last 5 years that all of a sudden we're getting all these interviews and signings. And I went to France last year and they want us to go all over the place for these conventions and stuff. And I'm like, and even my friends are going, what is up with Back to the Future? I mean, it was 30 years ago. I said, it is, I don't know. I said, the greatest thing about it that the fans are getting younger and younger and younger. So you can tell that it's still relevant. I mean, the movie is still relevant. People love this movie. And you could tell in the fans, they're always like, oh my God, I saw you when I was just a little kid and you made my life and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, thank you. It's just such a great feeling.
Did you since the movies, obviously I think that you're right. They were popular when they came out. They're even more popular today. Back to the Future is more popular now than it ever has been, perhaps. And you mentioned that you have kids. Did you show the movies to your kids or the Back to the Future 2 at a specific time? Are they interested, or is that just mom? That's just mom doing mom stuff.
They are not interested at all. I mean,
really?
They are more excited when a commercial comes on during like the Today Show. They're like, or if it just automatically comes on and they just happen to be watching TV and like say, I remember once, Full House came on and they were like, Mom, here you are. And, a lot of my friends didn't even know I was on Full House or stuff like that. And it's just like, oh my God, because they wouldn't recognize me from Back to the Future, like friends. But yeah, I mean, they've seen it, but they don't think it's a big deal. At all.
It's crazy to me.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
They really don't. I mean, they're like, whatever.
Something mom did a long time ago. I don't know why people are still talking about it.
Yeah. They roll their eyes. And I jokingly say to my daughter, I said, well, I have to do another interview today, because I am a celebrity. And she's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. I'm like, well, not really, but to some people I am.
Right. Well, to me you are. And speaking of the future, Darlene, what does the future hold for you? Do you have anything more that you want to accomplish? You said you've done the silent bits, to the extras, to the sitcoms, to the guest stars, to the blockbusters. Anything else on the agenda that you would like to accomplish?
Well, now that, my kids are older, I'm able to audition for, and hopefully get I would love to be on another series, maybe a little bit down the road. It's just so much fun. And I love working. I don't like, when you're a guest star or whatever, you're just sitting around a lot and you're kind of treated like a glorified extra. So I love being more like a series regular because, you just get, the respect level you get and just the work and it's fun for me, but I don't want to be on the top of the call sheet because then you're working all the time. I'd rather be on the lower end. So like, I'm like maybe recurring. Cause like when I was on Pacific Blue, I was there 5:30 in the morning till sometimes midnight. And it's a long, never see anybody. So I couldn't do that, but if it's only a couple days a week, I would mind it.
It sounds ideal, doesn't it? It sounds ideal.
There's some shows that I watch that I'm like, oh my God, I'd love to be on that show. I'd love to be on that show. But yeah, but we'll see. You don't know. That's the beauty about this business. You have no idea. I mean, like I always say, Michael J. Fox was selling his last piece of furniture when he got Family Ties. And so that's the beauty of this business. You could like say, I'm done. I quit. It's over. And then all of a sudden an audition comes up and you get it. And it just, you just, get back on again.
It changes everything. You never know what the future will hold, but we appreciate you talking with us today about Back to the Future and everything that you've done. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak with you. Would you like to let the people know where they can find you and follow you?
Yeah, I have an Instagram page, Darlene Vogel. I haven't done a web page yet. I just haven't gotten around to. I think I'm too old for all that stuff. But yeah, I'm on Instagram, and I usually post a lot of Back to the Future stuff on there. So you can just follow me on Darlene Vogel. I don't really go on Twitter that much, so it's a little bit too much for me. So Instagram is pretty much my favorite.
Instagram's a place. Well, Darlene, we appreciate you joining us today.
I want to say thank you to all the fans for following us. It's just really a joy to make everybody happy.
Absolutely. You will continue. We just celebrated the 35th anniversary and the 30th anniversary, I think, of Back to the Future 2 last year, and I'm sure there'll be many, many more down the road.
Oh, hey there?
Yes.
There you are. We froze.
Oh no. Okay. Well, I was just saying, I really appreciate you joining us today, and I'm sure that we'll be celebrating Back to the Future for the decades to come.
Yes, I hope so. And when I'm 90 years old, I'll be, walking around my hoverboard.
we would be so lucky. Darlene, thank you again.
Thanks, Brad.